Very soothing music. But now for the more lightweight politics that I promised. So on TikTok, there was a TikTok making the rounds about tipping landlords. So, for those of you not familiar, landlords are can be a particular breed of asshole, right? Where it's not enough that they own the property and are lazy at maintaining it and shunt all the costs to the renter. They also have a god complex where they think that you must, give them tribute for the beneficence of letting you live in their building. Never mind the fact that you're paying for that. It would be illegal for them to not let you live there if you're paying your rent. Regardless, the gist of it is landlords are saying like, hey, you should tip us. You know how you tip like wage workers and service industry workers? You should tip your landlord too, because fucking we want it, I guess. They don't really explain why you should do it, aside from, oh, we do all the hard work of calling somebody to repair a thing, even though they literally have to do that, because I'm pretty sure you get in trouble if you're the renter and you call somebody to fix, I don't know, like a leak or a rupture or some sort of structural problem in a building you don't own. But I thought I would bring it back to a quote, a particular quote that I am very fond of. And I would actually like... Oh, dang, it seems like somebody left. But if anybody's still here listening, I would actually like you to guess who this quote is from, because you might be surprised. So the quote goes, "Landlord's right has its origin in robbery. Landlords, like all other men, love to reap where they never sowed and demand a rent for even the natural produce of the earth." So, why don't you maybe have a quick guess or two as to who, who said that. So, I guess an amount of time has elapsed, and I haven't seen any guesses in chat, so I will reveal that quote that I recited earlier is an Adam Smith quote. You would think, like I would think, that it would come from somebody like Mao, or, or Marx, or somebody like that. One of the socialist authors of the 20th or even early 21st century. But no, Adam Smith apparently had a burning hatred for landlords, and he's right to hold that sentiment, I think, because if you are a landlord and that is your title, your occupation, then it means the way that you support yourself is off of the backs of others. It means that you hold a piece of land or some sort of deed or title or document that says that you own something and are thus entitled to all the proceeds, or entitled to a significant cut of the proceeds from that thing. I guess in a landlord's case, it would be all of the proceeds. That's who you pay rent to. But the thing is, those proceeds don't come from the work of the landlord. In medieval Europe, the landlords were extracting a profit from the peasants that worked the land. Now, in that case, they had the excuse of, we are providing defense for you, in the form of the, the nobles and the, knights and whatnot. But really, the only difference, the only thing that meant is that they were the only ones that could collect tax from you, and the wars were over who could collect taxes from whom, who got the legal right to basically extract labor from, or extract value from the labor that peasants had done, who got to reap where they didn't sow. But nowadays, we have a significantly different breed of landlord, the corporate boss. Of course, landlords still exist, people who own residential properties and charge rent for the people that live there. But in addition to that, there are bosses who own, let's say, a company that the company produces a certain thing. Maybe they're the head of an agriculture business. You know, a bit on the nose, but let's roll with it. And the job of the workers is to, you know, make sure that the farms are producing the wheat or the chaff or the, you know, the meat, the dairy, the produce, and then distribute it and sell it at the stores where it eventually ends up. And then the profits from that work eventually funnel their way upwards to the executives and the CEO, who almost by definition did not have a hand in any of that work, or any involvement they did have being very minimal and at times largely unnecessary. So in the modern day, with you know, market capitalism and the free market of businesses, we have corporate bosses reaping profits from labor that they never did, from the wage laborers who are underpaid for the work that they do, and as a result, the money that they didn't get, that was generated by the value of their work, goes up to the CEO, to the executives, to the shareholders as well. I should mention, you know, people who own a certain percentage of a company get the proceeds of work that they didn't do. And by the way, this is not to impugn any single person in that hierarchy. A lot of CEOs and landlords are very shitty people, and I would gladly impugn them one-on-one. But what is broadly at fault for this phenomenon, and for the perpetuation of that phenomenon, the extraction of surplus labor, is the system itself. The fact that there are these hierarchical structures of business and you know, methods of distributing wealth that really never reach the people who are responsible for generating it in the first place, or who are, you know, doing the bulk of the work. Because, you know, money being the complex thing as it is, if you have like an investment firm or whatever, you can basically pull money out of your ass. You can like generate money from nothing, because money is a made-up concept. Like we made that shit up. But there's also businesses where money is tied to something more tangible, some more tangible active production, like lumber or energy or food. And so, to bring it all the way back to my politics, socialism, a socialist world is one in which the workers own the means of production. So this agribusiness, instead of being operated by still operated by the workers, of course, by definition, they're doing the work, but owned by a small handful of people, it would be owned by the people that are doing the work in the company in equal part, and it would be run by the people doing the work in the company. It would be basically a miniaturized democracy centered around the thing that the company does, a workers' cooperative. But that's still in a market setting. If we sort of transition away from a market setting, you start to get worker syndicates, which I am not quite as well versed on. You know, I'll have to read more to that effect. But this has been my TED Talk on why capitalism is bad, because it derives its profits from the right of landlords, which, of course, has its origin in robbery, where socialism is centered around the workers owning and controlling the environment in which they work in a democratic fashion. While I'm saying all this, my characters have gotten BTFO'd by a giant waterfall that pushed them into a hot spring. So yeah, don't tip your landlord. Just don't. They didn't earn the money that you already paid them. Don't give them any money on top of that, unless they literally were the mason that built the building. And even then, that does not entitle them to own and manipulate the means by which people would escape death from the elements. You know? Just because, hey, look, I put all this hard work in and built this giant brick dwelling, doesn't mean I get to deprive all 50 people that would fit in it the right to live there as an escape from, I don't know, the harsh winter that they might face outside. Or, in the area where I live, a comparatively mild winter, but still, you know, we're dealing with very essential things here.